And just a bit of a reminder about the background to why we're doing these events. This is part of our Novels That Shaped Our World programme, and it's leading up to a really exciting Games Jam at the end of the month on the 24th or the 25th. And that's where we're looking for individuals or groups to create a prototype of a physical or digital game inspired by one of our BBC novels. I think Claire's going to put the list in the chats. And there's a £150 prize for the winner of the Games Jam and 2 runners-up prizes of £50 each. So it's definitely worth entering if you have a chance. But of course, there's no pressure to do that. And if you just want to come to these workshops to enjoy them, that's great too. And I think you should have all got a link to our Facebook group. So that's another way that we can all kind of just get together and share some ideas. So I think that's about it. So I'm now going to pass over to the wonderful Anne Jones, who I'm sure is going to give us another really enjoyable workshop tonight. Thank you, Anne.
Oh, thanks, Rhiannon. That was lovely. Hi, everyone. It's good to see everyone again. And like Rhiannon said, and welcome to people who weren't here last week. You don't need to come to every session. It's fine to dip in and out. That's fine. So this week we were going to look at stuff around player numbers, deciding whether you want a solo game, a game that plays 2, 3, 4, how you want to do that, and also thinking about, I guess, whether you want to do just a solo game or you want to do a game with a solo variant. So starting to think about numbers, and we were also going to look at a voting mechanic, which is quite a popular mechanic in a lot of games. So to start with, I thought we'd have a little bit of a game. The game I've got this week, you should have all received a card. Rhiannon emailed you out a card, and it's a double-sided card. So it's got try to tilt it. It's got a tarot card, and it's got a back as well with snippets of letters on, and I'll explain those in just now. It comes, we were talking last week about presenting games. It comes in this lovely little drawstring bag, and it's really kind of low, kind of, I don't know, low effort in a way. She's just literally, the maker has just printed it on. You won't be able to see, but it's just like stamped on, and it says, "And Then We Died," which is the name of the game. So quite nicely packaged, but a bit different really. And certainly not a dead expensive bit of packaging. So this game is really flexible. It says in the rule book, the actual thing in the rule book says it plays 1 to 8 to 10-ish. It actually says ish in the rule book because it's totally flexible. It does say beyond 10 it can get a bit unwieldy, and that's because you're telling a story, and I guess once you've got a lot of people involved in one story, it can get a bit like, it goes on and it can get a bit kind of out of control, I guess. So the theme of the game is that you start off the game and you're all dead. Okay, so we're all already dead, so that's done. And the last thing that happened before we all died was we went to have our tarot cards read, and on our tarot cards there are little snippets of clues to how we died. So usually when you play this in a group together, you would come up with some rules about the way you want to approach it. Obviously some people, I tend towards being a bit flippant about death is my default response to it, but people have totally different responses and want to explore it in different ways. So some people want to create a story that's funny, some people want to create a story that maybe explores an emotional response a bit more, and so it's kind of a very personal response. So if you're playing in a group of, and I think that's why it can also get a bit much when there's a lot of people. If you're playing a group game of it, you'd want to establish some kind of ground rules around that and around how you were going to approach it. The way we're going to do it is we're going to do it as a solo game. So each of you is going to play on your own and create your own story. So you can approach it however you feel comfortable and however you want to. And equally, if you just want to kind of watch and not write your own story, then that's fine too. Okay, so it's a cooperative storytelling game, and one unusual thing about it is a game you are playing, but there's no win condition. So it's really unusual in terms of a game, because there isn't a way of winning and there isn't a way of losing. It's just that you work together to tell this story and that you get something out of it. And again, that might be that you have a laugh, or it might be that you get to discuss something that's important to you, but you can play it in different ways. So each of you has got a card. I'm going to move the camera again, but hopefully I've set it up a bit better this time so that you can see. What? She says and drops the camera. Brilliant. Right, so now then, all you need to be able to see are the letter fragments. Okay, so each of you has got a card, and on your card you've got letter fragments, and the idea is that you are making a word and then you use that word to write one sentence of your story. And the very final person who plays, so I think there are like, there's 18 of us in chat, and I think so 16 of you have got cards. So the 16th person to go would then end the story with, and then we died. Okay, and that's the end of your story. Okay, so I've picked up temperance there. Oh, I need to show you that way. So then I can match it up, so I can make the word us or year. So I can chuck it over or under, and I can use either side as well. So I could make the word play there if I wanted to. So I can use it any way I want to make a word, and then you leave that there, and then your other card, you'll have more choices. So each person that goes will have more choices than the last. Okay, can't, oh, it's that. Oh, Anne, honestly. Right, okay. So what I thought I'd do is, if I call out your card, if you want to tell me where you want me to put it and what words you want to make, and then if everybody wants to write the first sentence of their own story using that word, and then we'll carry on like that. Okay, and I'll tell you when it's when we get to the last person, so that you know that it's the last sentence of your story. So has anybody got any questions now? I can see there's like 8 things in chat, aren't there? Okay, does anybody want to ask me anything before we start, in case anyone's not clear? Is everyone okay? Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's start with temperance. So who's got temperance? Has anyone got temperance? Looks like that. No. Okay, that's all right. There might be cards that no one's got actually as well. The next one is the devil. Who's got the devil? Anyone? Emma's waving at me. Okay, so Emma, so I'll just show you. Hello, I'll just show you the card that's there. So if you want to look on your card and see, can you see both sides of it, and then decide what word you would like to make for us to start our story.
Oh gosh, it's a really hard one.
You want me to flip the wheel of fortune so you can see the opposite side of it?
Actually, yeah, if you could flip it, that'd be great.
Way on either side. So that might give you, so you've got an EN, BL, an R, old there, an S there.
Oh, that's different to what I've got on mine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is the first card. So you've got.
That's better. I feel dim. Okay,
no, it's all right. No. I wasn't very clear.
Okay.
And you can also, just so you know, you can cover. So you see how you've got EN there? You could cover up the E and have rain if you wanted to, for instance.
Okay.
Or, like, you can tuck it under there and have, I don't know, blur.
Could I have? Could I have the S on old? So sold.
Sold. Okay, I'm just going to spin it around so we've got it the right way up. So yeah, so the first word is sold. So your first sentence in your story about how we all died has got to have the word sold in it. Okay, so if you write down, all of you write down your words, and I'll tell you the next person is the Hierophant. I don't know how long to give you, so if I go too fast, just tell me. Okay. Who's got the Hierophant, which looks like that?
I've got my list of people and cards, so I think the person I've given that to isn't here.
Okay.
So let me get a copy up and see if I can do it.
Oh, okay.
Put myself under pressure here now, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. Oh, that was brave. I just said I'll just tell you they're not here.
Okay, so what am I looking at?
So now you can add your card either side of it to any of these letters that are here.
It's hard, isn't it, under pressure?
It is hard. It is hard under pressure. I guess if people
I've got one
cards on their screen, they can be like looking, having a little bit of a think, but there's no saying that someone won't pinch your space, but at least you can have a bit of a look. So go on, Rianne.
This is on a bit of the same wavelength. Is there an ENT?
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm on the wrong side. Yeah.
And can I have that next to the R?
Ah, rent. Yeah, nice. Okay, so your second sentence in your story has got to have the word rent in it. And the next person to go is the person with strength. Just like that. Strength.
I might have to do this one as well.
You can pass if you want.
Okay, I'll pass this one.
I'll get, that's all right. Unless you feel particularly inspired. The moon is the person who's got the moon here.
Yep, that's me.
Oh, hi, Alice. Brill.
Hi. Gosh. Is it okay if I overlap with an existing card?
Absolutely, yeah, you can.
Okay, so the AT on the reverse side with the S for sat.
Yeah. Here?
Or the other S.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, sat. There you go. Yeah, you will end up covering other things up. So you've got sat next in your next sentence. Okay, and then the next person is the Ace of Cups. Sometimes a bit hard to read them because the writing is over them. It's the Ace of Cups.
Okay, that's us.
Okay, Susan. Lovely. I'll move that so you can see what you're working with.
You can have star. You can have rented. No, not have rented. Should we have star?
Star.
Okay, so make the star just the STA that was there. Yeah. Oh, there's two places for it. You found somewhere else. Yeah. That's all right.
So do it there and then it covers up less cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it there and then that's a bit kinder to the next person.
Okay.
The next sentence has got to have the word star in it. Okay. And then the next card is going to be judgment. It's that person here, Rianne.
Oh, sorry, I think that's me. Apologies.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right.
I'm just thinking, bear with me.
No, that's fine. No, thinking is good.
Gives us time to write our stories.
That's true. Yeah.
Can you do names, or does it have to be a word?
You could do a name, no? Because it could be a person that's involved in your story.
So sorry about this. It's taken ages, isn't it?
No, it's absolutely fine. It's hard when you put on the spot. It's hard. And it's so much easier when you physically play with the game because you can kind of experiment putting it down. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. The P and the A, can that attach to the M? And I'm just going to go with Pam.
P and the A to the M.
Yeah, is that covering too much up?
No, that's fine. No, well, it doesn't matter actually if it covers loads up. I was just trying to be considerate in my placement, really.
Ruby.
Cool. Oh, that's it. Just need to go back a bit that way, don't I? Okay, so the next card is Justice. Oh, sorry, I should have said the next word in your story is the next sentence in your story has got to have Pam in it. And then the next person is Justice.
I think that one was Victor, but I can't see him.
Oh, perhaps he's not here yet. Okay, what about the High Priestess?
Oh, that's me. Hello.
Hello.
Like it. Hello. Could you put create the UN next to RI as in ruin?
Yeah. Testing me
Please.
now. Can't see the I. Oh.
Is it RI? RI and then UN on the card?
Ruin is RUIN. You could have.
Oh gosh,
run.
I can't even spell now.
No, that's. You could have run though.
Okay, we can do run. Yeah.
Yeah, is that all right word?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Cool. So your next sentence will have the word run in it. Just trying to get it all in now. Okay, and then your next person is the person with the Ace of Swords card. That's my phone. Sorry. Put my phone on silent and now it's just buzzing at me, which is annoying.
They're not here either.
They're not here either. Okay, dokes. The Hermit. Have we got the Hermit? No.
Jessica here.
The Star. No.
Yeah, the star is me.
Ah, okay, lovely.
Sonia, could I have the ain on the picture side?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to. Somebody's just covered it with the run. Yes, I missed that.
Were you going to have rain?
I was going to have stain on the other corner, but actually I can have rain, can't I? Because I can cover over run now we've used it. Yeah, I'll have rain.
Okay, I can't see anywhere else you could have stain. That's a good word though, isn't it? Rain. There you go.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Alden. So we've got rain in your next sentence. And then we've got the magician next.
Is that me? I think that's me, but can you show me the magician card, please? Thank you.
So that's the front of it.
Yeah.
So you've got that. And then you've got, that's the back of it. So if I move it over, actually, then you can see all the things that are there.
Ooh, can I have wall? W-A-L-L. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to hang off the...
No, that's all right. That's all good. So the next sentence of your story has got to have the word wall in it. That's it.
And can you remind us what the name of the game is, please? Larkin would like to...
The name of the game is called And Then We Died, and it's by someone called Emma Larkins. If you've got the workbook that I sent out, I've put a link in that to all of the games that we're looking at. So so that's in there if you want to find out a bit more about it. Next person is the tower. The tower. Has anyone got that one?
I have the tower.
Ah, lovely.
Sorry, my microphone wasn't working for a second.
Oh no.
Let's see. Can we, on the reverse side, you've got OVE and you've got a D on the star card. Can you spell dove?
Yeah.
Okay, do it there. Is
that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do.
Perfect. So dove in the next sentence. Fab. And then the next person has got the hanged man.
I think that one might be me.
Okie doke.
Too busy looking at my spreadsheet.
That's all right.
Let me get my picture up.
So that's, you've got.
Can I have good? The O-O-D.
Yeah.
G.
On this G. Yeah. Yeah, just about. This is like Jenga here. If it falls off the table, we all lose. So good is your next next word in your next sentence. And then we've got the sun. Whoever's got the sun is next.
That's me.
Okay, lovely.
Just thinking for a second.
That's all right. Sorry.
Could I have, you see the CU beside sat? And if you put the double L after it and have cull?
Yes, found it. There. Yeah?
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Well, that's an interesting word. Yeah, brill. And then the next person has got the lovers.
I can't see them either on the list.
That's okay. So I'm really unfortunate picking out all the ones that aren't here. The chariot. The chariot.
That's me.
Ah, lovely.
Okay. Oh dear.
Getting a bit congested, isn't it? You've got loads of choice, which is a good thing, but also makes it tricky.
Oh, if you would slide it underneath the devil card, so it says RODE, road. So RO on the devil card, and then DE.
Oh,
road.
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, okay. Cool. And the next person is the world.
I think I've got that one as well. Can you, on the other side, it's an IG.
Yeah.
I'm going to have that over the P and have a pig.
Oh, that's, yeah. Going to be an interesting demise.
I'm not sure where I'm going.
That's the great thing about it. There's like no real control over where it goes. And then we've got the emperor.
I have that one.
Oh, okay. Sorry, take a bit of time. Sorry, you probably haven't finished writing the sentence about the pig.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a few sentences behind.
Oh, sorry.
I'll just see the first word that I can see that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is, yeah.
I feel like the ICK, there must be like...
I was going to say there's an LA at the top and then SH at the bottom. Oh wait, as in at the bottom of that one?
Like lash?
Yeah, that was just the first word that I could see on there.
Oh, that's good, because that can mean lots of things, can't it? You can lash ropes together. Yeah, that's good. I think that's a good one. Nice. Okay, I'll give people a couple of minutes just to catch up. So lash is the next word in your next sentence. Sorry, not the next word. You know what I mean. It was lash, yeah, LASH. Could be an eyelash. No worries. Okay, and then the next person is the Ace of Pentacles. Is that anybody?
No, can't see them either.
That's okay. The Fool.
That's me.
I'm just going to double check just before we do yours, how many, because yours might be the last one. So I just want to double check. Have we got Death here?
Yep.
Yep. Yep, she says cheerfully. The Empress.
Yep.
Yep. And the Ace of Wands. No.
No.
Okay, so there's 3 more to go. So there'll be this one and 2 more, and then the story ends. Just so you can inject some structure to your story. So, Nicole, you are the Fool, apparently.
Story of my life.
Where are you going?
Where do I put on the back of mine? I've got ACK.
Yeah.
Can I put that next to the S to your left, right at the left? To make sack.
Yeah.
Well, that one, yeah, either fine. Yeah.
Well, oh, you were thinking this one here.
It's fine, either.
Sack. Perfect. Yeah. Cool. So the last word was sack, S-A-C-K. It's just here. Oh, it's a little bit off the camera, actually. Try and squeeze it on a bit. Sack, S-A-C-K. Oh, no worries, no worries. It's hard to see with there's so much going on. Okay, so the Empress is next. So this is second to last event in your story.
So on the back, is there an ATE?
There is.
Could I have that next to one of the Fs, either the middle F or the F towards the...
Fate.
Fate, yeah.
Ooh, that's a good word in a story like this, isn't it? Yeah, brilliant. Fate. This is going to be, the next sentence is going to be your last sentence, and the second half of your last sentence is going to be, and then we died. Okay. And so that aptly ending on death. That's very appropriate. So, death. Who are you?
Hi, could you put the SL, which is on that picture side, please, next to the ASH by the horse's head to make slash?
Ah, yeah. Oh, also a good, yeah, slash. Brilliant. And so this is going to be your last sentence of your story. I'll just pop the camera back so I can see. Just top it. There we go. Okay, so is everybody all right there? Yeah. So I don't know whether anyone wants to share anything or ask any questions or say anything about that game, how you feel about it, or ask me a question, or if you want to share part of your story or all of your story. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I have put you right on the spot there, haven't I?
I promised everyone, Anne, that you'd be very kind. We're all friends here.
Yeah, exactly. There's no judgment. And any words are good, really, because even if they seem a bit random or a bit odd, that's quite good, because then it takes the story off in a bit of a weird direction. So it doesn't matter really what you put. Does anyone feel really brave and want to share theirs? Really putting you on the spot now. No pressure, but if you feel like what you've done is interesting in some way, I'd love it if you could email it through, because I'd love to see what you've done, really. Not, I wouldn't share it with anyone or... Oh, here we go. What's Dan got here? Sold all our possessions, rent-free living out in the woods, sat under the moonlight, star guided us to a faraway place. Pam led the way, good old Pam. Run towards the North Star, rain nourished us, wall garden to the west, dove brought us an olive branch, good times dancing around the fire, rode all through the night, pig ran across our path, fate caught up with us, slash from the grim reaper. Brilliant. Doesn't matter, it doesn't matter that you missed a few words. That's brilliant. I love it. It's really good.
Share mine.
That one. Really impressed.
I don't mind sharing mine.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Okay. I'll just read out and type it.
Yeah. We'll listen.
We sold our jewellery. The rent was raised. I sat alone outside to think and made a wish upon a star. Pam raised the alarm. We had to run. The rain was torrential. Soon we reached the town wall. I saw a dove rise high over us. We thought this was a good sign and that we would survive the cull. We rode on an old cart, sharing the last of the cooked pig. I would do anything to avoid the lash of the whip. I found an old sack to cover myself and hide. Was this to be our fate? The sound of a slash, and then we died. Or this is how we died, whatever the end is.
Yeah, and then we died. It's just, and then we died.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I loved that. It's dead atmospheric.
Yeah, it's like to freak me out.
Yeah, it's really
One
good.
more?
Yeah.
Okay. We sold our shoes on Monday as rent was due. We sat outside barefoot. A star twinkled brightly. A map appeared on the ground. The ink running down the page. I wipe the rain away. Should we follow a wall to treasure? From the tree a dove spoke, be of good cheer, fortune lies near. She survived the autumn cull. I came to a cart in which I rode, a pig pulled it. I lashed it faster. Then I saw a sack of apples, bad fate for us. A slash tripped the wheels, and then we all died.
Wow, that was brilliant. Oh my God, they're brilliant. That's fab.
A little pressured,
really
but
yeah, really hard under pressure, but really good.
Oh.
Love the start of this one. Shall I read it out?
Oh, I missed Pam. Oh.
Poor old Pam, you just left her behind. Shall
Pam
I read?
was in the cart.
Oh, she was. That's brilliant. Should call Pam. Can't call Pam. That's amazing. Really cool. So I think generally we enjoyed that game. It's kind of it's odd because it is a game, but there isn't a way of winning, but it's still fun to play around with it, and you're playing with words, and you can. I just thought it ties in so nicely when you're thinking about books and themes and stories and getting people to write, you know, and explore their own stories. So yeah, the next game I was going to look at is also a game that can be played solo. So like I said, this one by Emma Larkins, And Then We Died, you can play solo, you can write your own stories. I've done it before. It's quite a nice, it gives you some sort of constraint to your writing, which can be quite good in a way. It can like help you think about what you're doing, and yeah, it's good. So the next game that we're going to look at is Assembly. This is one of my all-time favorite games. It says Build, Solve, Escape. Okay. The story behind Assembly, it's a 1 or 2 player game, but that's it, really. It limits at 2. So you're trapped on an orbital space platform. You were working there building luxury spacecraft, and then a meteor hits, and the meteor is carrying some sort of bug or infection or something, but anyway, everyone on the space platform apart from you and possibly one other person, if you're playing with someone else, died of whatever this meteor was carrying. So you've got immunity to it, and you've got to get off the space platform and get back to Earth with your immunity so that we can find a cure for whatever this thing was. Okay. To do that, you're going to finish manufacturing one of the luxury spacecrafts and then use that to get home. So it's kind of, it's a production line that you've got, and you've got to slot all the components into the correct place on the production line in order to finish building your spacecraft so that you can leave. But the computer is programmed to stop you leaving because there's been a disaster on the platform, and because you could be infectious, the computer is actually going to try and keep you there. So you're going to have to outwit the computer to get away. It also means, and this is quite a nice little quirk of this game, that you can't really talk to the person you're playing with. When you first start playing, they suggest that you ask one question, and that's all you're allowed to say. So you're allowed to ask the other person one question, and they can ask you one question and each turn, and that's it. But with the instruction booklet, there's a bit in the back where it shows you sign language for the signs that you would need to communicate. Because the idea is, as soon as the computer hears you using a key word, which is to do with you escaping, it shuts down the communication channels, and that's it, you can't talk anymore. So it's quite a cool little mechanic that's tied into the theme. And one of the things I really like about this is it's very, very thematic. So because of the theme, you've also got a limited number of commands. So if I show you, just trying to work out where the bits are. So these are your bays, and it's set out like, you know, like clock patients where you've got a circle. Yeah. So these are set out like in a circle, and you have to try and get the modules, these little pieces, into the correct bay. So you've got a module for each bay, and you've got all the different bays. So for instance, there's your medical bay, and that's your medical module that you've got to pop in there, and then you've got to lock it into place. So you've got to flip the component to have it that way up. Okay, so it's quite a puzzle. You've only got a limited number of commands that you can use. So you can draw up another one of these, another module. You can lock one or two of the bays. You can swap components across the board to get them into the correct place. And you can rotate the bays, so you can move stuff around basically to get them into the right place. And you can go clockwise, anti-clockwise, or that one means you can go either way. And that is all of the commands that you've got. There are more of them. There's a deck of cards, but there's a very limited amount of things that you can do to get things into the correct place. And you only have 3 rounds in which to do it. So there are limits on how long you've got. There's also 1 wild card, but that doesn't go in until the 3rd round. So at the end of each round, the way that they've marked out so you can keep track of how many rounds you're on, you pop these 2 cards out to one side, and on the end of the 2nd round, oh, no worries. Thanks for coming, Louise. It's lovely to see you.
Bye,
So,
thanks.
bye, thank you. At the end of the 2nd round, you pop that card in, and at the end of the 3rd round, you pop that one in. And I really like that because it means it's really easy to keep track of. You're not having to remember how many rounds you're on. And I think anything you can do to remove stuff like that for your players so they can really concentrate on the game and not be worried about keeping track of things really helps. It's like those games where you get like a first player token that marks the person who went first, so that you don't need to remember who went first. Things like that I think are really helpful to include in your game. One of the other real benefits with assembly is Janice, the woman who designed it, has put in loads of different difficulty levels. So for instance, when you start playing, you know, I said it was like clock patience. So you have these cards round the side, your 12, 3, 6 and 9. And then you line your cards up round the side using these. On the flip side of those are things called glitches. And these are things that go wrong. And there are loads of different sets of these that have got different difficulty levels that are just on the reverse side. So she's included those, so there's different difficulty levels. She's also included, there's just a few different ways that she's made it so there's different difficulties. So you can start off with less of these command cards, so that you've got less cards to use. There's a few different things, and always she thinks about when she's designing her games, having ways of making it a bit easier and ways of making it more difficult, like with the communication. So when you first play, you wouldn't play in silence. Once you played a couple of games, she'd encourage you to try playing it in silence so that you can add that to it. And I think that's a really nice thing to do. The other thing that she's done is she's planned expansions to it. So after this game, there's one called Sensor Ghosts, and that one is the story of you having to navigate a moving minefield so that you can get your sample of the virus. You can collect a sample of the virus off one of the meteors and take it back to Earth. Earth won't let you land without your sample. So you have to go into the meteor field to get the sample, because obviously they're like, why should we let you back on? You're possibly infectious. So that kind of carries on the story as well. So just thought it might be nice to have a brief look at that. Does anyone want to ask me any questions? I know that was quite a whiz through that one. No, it's all gone quiet. I just think it's an interesting one, that one, because of the difficulty levels, and also because it is 1 or 2 players. And I think it's nice that you can just play it on your own, like, because it's a puzzle. Yeah. Okay. So the other type of game we said we'd look at was games with a voting mechanism. Basically, there are a lot of games out at the moment where you vote and that forms part of the scoring. And it can be that you vote for the best answer or the funniest answer. And usually it's the person that gets the most votes that then gets points. Dixit, I don't know whether you've seen Dixit before, is got a voting mechanism, but it's just a little bit different. And one of the lovely things about Dixit is the artwork in Dixit. So it plays 3 to 6 people. It's actually better the more people you have playing. 3, it's not so cracking really. It's better with more people, and I'll explain why. One of the things I'll just mention about Dixit is it comes in this lovely box. And one thing I only really recently realised is that this bit comes out where you keep your cards, and you're supposed to flip it over and pop it back in. And it creates just a complete game board that's flat. I never knew that. No idea that was double-sided. And I've had it years. Saw it on someone's Instagram and I was like, oh, you've got a different version from me. No, not a different version. Just flip. Why would you know that? Anyway, so if you get Dixit, you'll know that. Yeah, you see. Why would you know that? Exactly. So it's fun. The other thing I really like about Dixit is that it comes with these little rabbits to score for no apparent reason. It doesn't explain. It's not rabbit themed. It just comes with rabbits. I just love that. It's like if you like rabbits, have rabbits in your game. Also, I like the fact that you know, in a lot of board games they call them meeples, the little people from Carcassonne. They come with meeples. So these are called rubbeeples. It's just gorgeous. So you pop your rubbeeple on the 0, and this is a score tracker, but it's very fancy. So it's not like a board game where you roll and move. It's just to track your score. So in Dixit, the person called the storyteller goes first. So each of us has a turn at being the storyteller, and you'll get a hand of 5 cards. So you deal out your 5 cards. And then you look at your cards, which of course are upside down. Okay. And then you can see they're just beautiful, the artwork, and really odd. Some of them are just really peculiar. So if you look at that one. And the idea is in Dixit that the storyteller is going to tell you something about one of their cards. And they can choose to say, usually you agree it before you start playing so that you all do the same thing. But you can say a sentence, you can say a single word, you can say a quote from a book. It could be a lyric, a line from a film, a short sentence, whatever you want, okay? And you're going to say something about your card. And then you keep it secret so no one knows which card you've got. And then everyone else looks in their hand of cards and they choose a card that matches with what you've said. So if I'm the one that's the storyteller, I've chosen my card and I'd pop it face down. And then you would pass me a card that matches what I've said. So if I've said love, you look at your cards and you think, which one of my cards best looks like love? And so you pass them to me. And at the end, I've got 1 card from each player. And I pop those down and I pop them face up, but no one knows, apart from your own card, obviously, no one knows whose card is whose. Everybody but me then votes for which one you think is my card. And this is where the voting comes in. So you all vote. If everybody votes for me, I get no points at all because it was too obvious. What I said was too obvious. If nobody votes for me at all, I get no points at all because it was too obscure. So you're aiming to say something that's a bit vague, but not too vague. That's the aim, okay? And if that happens, I'll get 3 points. So I'll move on 3 points. Also, if people have chosen, none of these are really suitable for love, are they? Let me try and find one. Oh, let's go with this one. If everyone had voted that this one was mine, even though it wasn't, whoever owns this card gets bonus points because people voted for them because they'd made a good choice. So you get like a bonus. And that's the way that it works. It's really interesting to play with different people. So you can play with people you know, and that's good fun. But if you play with people you don't know, it's a really like interesting way to see a different side of people, because it's just really interesting what people say about different images. And like I say, a lot of the images are kind of, there's more than one thing to say about them. So the age on the game is 8+. To be honest, children tend to do really well with this game because it's kind of, sometimes adults are a bit more self-conscious and we're a bit more worrying about what people think about what we say, whereas children tend to look at it and they just say something that comes into their head. And it's, I don't know, not that they're more imaginative, but they're just a bit freer, aren't they, I think? So often 8, you know, it's a bit of a loose guideline really, because actually, as long as you're able to look at a picture and say something about it, then you can play. Sounds quite hard. Yeah, it can be. I think it's one of those games where the first couple of rounds, sometimes you look at your card and you're like, oh, I don't know what to say. But once people start saying things and you realise that some people say things that are really odd. So someone will look at a card and they'll say, oh, time. And you think time, when you look at it, you think there's no way that's true time. But there isn't really a wrong answer. So as long as I can say, well, it makes me think of time because it would take me ages to go up all these steps, or, you know, or it made me feel confused. So I'm saying confusion. So, yeah. Or slow because it's got a snail. Yeah. It's an interesting one. So, yeah, it's like I say, it uses that, yeah, associative mindset thing. Yeah, it can be, but it's one of those games that after the first round, you tend to have more and more ideas, I think. And also some of the cards are easier than others. So like that card has got loads going on. You could say like celebration or party, or so there's quite a lot you can say about that, whereas some of them I find quite hard. Like that one's but it's very personal, isn't it? Because someone else will look at it and be like, oh, there's loads I can say about that. But like some cards I think, oh, I don't know what to say about that. So yeah, it's an interesting one. But it was nice as well. I was thinking about like all the artwork that's been shared, you know, on the Flickr page and stuff. This is the kind, you know, kind of really this game is based on art and on the look of the game. So, and of course there's all the art available on the Leeds Flickr page, isn't there? And then also I had a really quick Google search and there's lots of museums that have artwork online that you can use, like the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and the Tate I know has stuff. Yeah, so yeah. What else was I going to say? Yeah, just in terms of voting mechanics, I was just going to mention one to you, just because Cards Against Humanity is like the Rijksmuseum. Yeah, everything's on that. Oh, it's free. Oh wow, that's really good. But yeah, I think a quick Google, there's loads of images that you can just use in your games, aren't there? Yeah, and that one's Netherlands based. Yeah, cool. Thank you. So Cards Against Humanity. I'm not a fan of Cards Against Humanity, to be honest. Oh, and that's the Flickr link. Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. That's great. Just because it's quite inappropriate. So I was just going to point you towards a game that uses exactly the same mechanic, Yeah. Oh, that'll be great when everything at Leeds Museums is too. Oh, yeah. I used to go to an art class at the Discovery Centre, and it was just amazing because they used to bring things through for you to draw, and it was just brilliant, like all the different stuff to look at. Love it. So this one is called Bucket of Doom. It works exactly like Cards Against Humanity. You can see it's age 17 plus, but instead of being offensive, it's just really silly and a bit rude. So some of the things in it are a bit rude, but basically you have a scenario where you're like stuck somewhere. So, right, okay, so this one, for instance, you're in your date's apartment on the 20th floor. You throw a ball for their dog. It flies out of the window and the dog jumps after it. Okay. You get 5 objects and you have to choose one of those objects that you're going to use to resolve the situation that you're in. You tell a story about how you're going to resolve that situation, and then everyone votes on either the best answer or the funniest. So pretty much identical to Cards Against Humanity, except as you can see from that one, it's just a bit silly. So you'd have like, so the top one I've picked out, you'd have a Princess Elsa costume, you'd have a 1980s mobile phone, a trunky, and a gingerbread man. And you would have to choose one of those things. You'd have one more as well, but you choose one of those things to deal with the fact that your date's dog has just jumped out of a window on the 20th floor. Don't know how you would deal with that, but and you tell this story and you convince people that that would be all right because you would dress up as Princess Elsa and distract your date, or I don't know what you would do. But yeah, so I just thought I would show you that because then that uses that voting mechanic again, where you just vote for whoever's got the funniest or the best answer, and it's just a bit dafter. And there's even a children's kind of version which is called Wing It, which is for much younger children. It actually says age 12 on it, but it's I think that's just because there's a lot of reading, quite a lot of reading. So it might be like your school has been invaded by zombies and these are the 5 things you've got, and you've got to choose as many of them as you want, and you weave this story with your objects about how you're going to deal with the issue, and then you vote on the best answer. So it's, yeah, just some different ones really I thought might be worth showing you. Has anyone got any questions for me about, I feel like I've whittled on again.
Just wondered, Anne, do you have any recommendations for where people can buy the games? Is there somewhere that you go, like a go-to place, if you're trying to avoid Amazon?
Yes, of course, yeah. Usually I get my games, I work part-time at a game shop since lockdown because my business is mainly events-based. A friend of mine basically needed someone to work at her game shop, so I work there 2 days a week, which has been brilliant. And so I get most of my games from her because she's local, so that's Harrogate, and it's called Games Crusade. So I get a lot of games from her. And there's also, of course, Travelling Man in Leeds is really good. Things like Wing It, I got given a copy of that at the UK Games Expo. But for things that you can't find, because that's an American game, I would just try and go direct to the maker of the game and see where they're selling it and just ask them where they want me to buy it from. Because most of them will sell it themselves, or they'll have a preferred, like the Zatu games, which is ZATU. And they're really good, but they're online. But usually games designers will tell you where they'd like you to get their game from. Yeah, like Emma Larkins, who does And Then We Died, her game is directly available from her website. So then she's getting the money from it instead of, you know, going for someone else. Thanks. Oh yeah, I like the choosing cards from your hand thing, like choosing which set of series of references your friends would get. Yeah, that's nice. And that's when it's interesting to play with people who you don't know, because that obviously shifts that whole dynamic then, doesn't it? So, does anyone want to ask any questions about their games that they're working on, or if anyone's got any ideas they want to kind of get any feedback on from anyone? Oh, right. Okay. So Thirsty Meeples have an online site. I didn't realise that. Is that Oxford? It's a games cafe, isn't it? And they're really good. Yeah, Oxford. Yeah. So it's nice to support people like that, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't realise they had an online store. That's good. Yeah. Oh, I've heard of Monica's. It's supposed to be really good. Yeah. Oh. Oh, and Travelling Man have online too. Yeah, Games Crusade do online too, which is good. Yeah, I think everyone's had to, haven't they? And yeah, it's hard to imagine, really, isn't it, what things are going to be like when we can meet people and play games with them again. It's weird. We'll get there, though, I think. It takes a bit of time.
And during lockdown, have you been using anything digitally to still play games with people from a distance or anything?
Yeah, so I've been quite old school, and we've played games online that, yeah, so Dan's recommended Board Game Arena, and there's also Tabletop Simulator, and there's a few, and there's Asmodee do games online. But I have to say I've been quite old school, so I've got my camera and pointed it down at the board, and then we've had a separate camera on us, and we've chatted while we've been playing. But we've played a lot of cooperative games, so we've played Pandemic and Forbidden Island. So because with a cooperative game, it doesn't matter if everyone can see your cards, so you can and you're discussing what you want to do as well, so it doesn't matter as much. It's difficult to play competitive things online because you can see what other people have got. But yeah, we've played a lot of those, and quiz games lend themselves really well to Zoom and things. So we've played Shot in the Dark, which is a Leeds-based company made that. That's a good one. And also we played Scrabble, which was really entertaining because we were like, how are we going to know whose letters are, how we're going to score it, and how are we going to have enough? So we used bananagrams. So we had, our letters were Scrabble, and when they played a word, we put it down using the bananagrams tiles, because obviously otherwise you'd have to look through all the tiles to find the tiles they were using. But we didn't really think that through because it made the game like mammoth because we doubled the amount of tiles that we had. But we played that a few times and it was really good fun. It wasn't strictly like, Scrabble, but it was good fun. It was really good fun.
Oh, thank you. That sounds fantastic fun. My friend said she's been playing, is it D&D, I think, online with people.
Like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, that's, although it's not exactly, well, it is cooperative, isn't it? You're working together, aren't you, to get through the dungeon, I suppose, or to fight things. And yeah, that would be good.
This might be an awkward question, but do you ever cheat at games?
I don't actually, no, I really don't for some reason. Even though when the kids were little, I probably could have done. Very tempted to cheat sometimes with my son, because from a very early age, he used to just beat me at absolutely everything, apart from word games. I love word games, but I never play word games in my house because everyone says, oh, there's no point playing because you just win. But it's all right for me to play chess and lose that horribly. That's okay. But yeah, apparently there's no point playing word games. Thanks, family. So that's the reason I'm looking forward to getting back to board game events, because sometimes you get someone coming who's on their own and they're like, oh, I'd quite like to play Boggle. And I'm like, yes, I'd love to play Boggle with you. So yeah, ridiculous. But yeah, so no, I haven't cheated, but I wish
you're quite competitive.
Yeah, I can be. Yeah, I kind of, yeah, I don't like that side of myself either. So, you know, when you get really overly competitive and then you think, oh, I'm being a horrible person. There are some games that bring that out in me and I don't really like it. That was a good question.
I was just thinking about the first game we played, the cards.
Yeah.
Is there a way, if we're trying to make it fit a story or inspired by a novel, is there a way to kind of guide that game? So you're trying to think of do you have to choose words that might fit in with a story or create a story that's similar? Or is that not one that might not fit so well?
No, I think that would work. I think you could, I guess, if instead of having fragments of words, you had like keywords from the story or like thematic phrases from the story, you could craft those, couldn't you?
Or I suppose instead of "and then we died," it could be "and then we fell down the rabbit hole," or the last line could be something from a story or an adventure book. And
well, so, like you were saying about last week about maybe not necessarily using the body of the novel, but like a character that you don't normally explore, you don't find out about, or like before the novel or after the novel, or those kind of gaps in the novel where things aren't really explored. You could do that, couldn't you?
Yeah. And I would love someone to do something like lifting a character out of a book and setting them in Leeds or in like a building in the city, or there's so many things you can do or even just designing different meeples that's inspired by something.
Well, like if you did the little characters from a book, maybe you could,
even if someone just wants to submit those, that'd be great. Be really good fun.
I love that. And then they stuffed me in a teapot. That's it. Yeah, I bet there's loads you could do with thinking about stuff. Did I share that link last week about blank cards? I can't remember.
I don't still have it, so I'd love to have it back if you did.
Yeah, I think it might have been in that email we sent out, the like follow up.
I can resend the notes out.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Look how organised it is. He is straight on it. It's impressive.
I love it. Thank you.
But it's American. Oh, okay. Is Kent and Cleel American?
That was what was on the Word document that was sent around.
I've got stuff. I've got stuff from them, and it's been fine.
It's a .co.uk. That
one. So can I throw a mechanics question out to people?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to come up with a game that's themed on one of the books, and I want to have the possibility of people basically sinking to the bottom of the ocean, or possibly getting shot in a dark alley, or one of the great things that happens during a war, in the 1812 sort of timeline. But the thing is, if someone makes a bad mistake that winds up getting their character, assassinated, how can I pull them back in halfway through? Because I hate games where once you die, it's over. It's so boring. And so I've been thinking about this, and I need someone else to talk to besides my partner, who says, okay, that's nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah, do that. What about that vengeful ghost thing in Forest of Fate, where they come back, but they're just a ghost? It doesn't have to be vengeful. They could come back as a spirit of themselves, and then maybe have some reduced abilities because of that, but some additional abilities, like maybe they can see other people's plans in some way. But I don't know, like
I don't know how many spoilers I could have. I mean, if they were associated with another character after that, because they have to have a place to live, to live in the context of the book. So I can't leave them I can't leave them abandoned or at the bottom of a shark's stomach or something. That would be no fun. Okay, so it's a thing based on sea captains. If you guys can think of a mechanic that might work, because if it was a ghost, if they had to finish the game and have a chance of winning, they would have to be associated with another boat, so that could work. But Davy Jones' locker, I could come up with an entire separate plot for. Okay, I think missing a few turns might be enough, because I was thinking they could get their fortune. So there's always the second in command. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so inheriting an object. So the question is, can they die twice? Nobody said that, but I want everyone to have 2 goals. As in chrononauts. So one goal that's like a personal goal, and one goal that's like maybe just be as rich as can be. So I'm going to have every boat have a captain and a key mysterious passenger. So each mysterious passenger will have their own goals, such as like a naturalist, a spy, perhaps someone who's looking for a rich husband. I don't know, just things that people might be doing in 1820. But I do want to have the ships possibly go down, but maybe so you should only have like maybe 3 or 4 chances in the game to be eliminated. So you might run into a dreadnought that would actually just blast your boat out of the water. But I think having them lose 3 or 4 turns in the money actually is probably the best chance. So they can just become the second in command on their boat. And there's a million miracles. Have all the ghosts form a team. Oh, that would be really fun, actually. Although I think it would be slipping away from the extremely naturalistic tone of the books. Ooh, lifeboats. Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what? Kyle, wherever you are, I think the lifeboats is awesome. I totally forgot they existed. Thank you very much. You're on a lifeboat. You lose X% of your possessions, and a turn. I think that would probably take care of it.
That's kind of thematic as well, isn't it? Because you wouldn't be able to take everything on the lifeboat.
It's
grab whatever you could and get on the lifeboat.
Okay. So lifeboats, and then you keep rolling to see if you maybe are found by another boat. So that would all work. Okay, thank you. We have good ideas. And Claire, I'm going to put some mermaids in there just because you know what? If it's my game, it can have mermaids and sea monsters, because that makes me happy.
On all the old maps, there's always sea monsters in the sea, no matter how realistic the maps are. So you can sneak it into the design.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. And for you folks who work at the libraries, I'm sure you can't guess what I'm thinking about doing a game of.
Very excited.
But I need those blank cards. Has anyone else actually started designing a game? Because I don't want to feel like I'm the only, the weirdo. Come on, there's got to be somebody.
Everyone's just being very cagey, protecting their ideas.
That's what it is.
Well, I was thinking about not saying anything and being ultra super vague and hopeless, but you know what? Forget it. If you're inspired now, then maybe you'll come up with a better game, and nobody loses if we end up with a great game.
And it doesn't have to be a really complete finished thing. It's just, if we're going to be rating it on different kind of aspects, kind of creativity, a link to the books, playability. So if you're really good at illustrating and you design some really beautiful cards, you might score highly on ones, when we're judging it. So really, whatever ideas and whatever kind of things you might want to submit, just do it, have a go. And please share your ideas on the Facebook group as well. We can chat on there afterwards. can we enter a game that doesn't relate to any of the 100 books but is part of one of the themes? I think yes. I think so. Something like Alice in Wonderland isn't one of the 100 novels, but I'd say because it covers kind of rule breakers, adventure, other worlds, that kind of fits in with kind of the ethos of what we're trying to do. So, and I think you probably can link it to one of the novels in some way. But yeah, please don't let that put you off submitting something. It might just be that you can score slightly lower on that section. That's exciting. Anyone else?
Put the Facebook link back into chat again in case you do want to join up and chat together as well. And like Leanne says, we've got a scoring system out of 5 based on creativity, linked to the books, linked to our collections, playability and creativity, if I didn't already say that. I might have said that twice.
So when we're creating a game linked to the books, what's you know, we know very well that you can't do copyright or copy names or characters and things like that. Is this outside that? Is this just something outside that, or should we be worried about copyright?
This is just something for us, really. So it's just that we can play with people in libraries or with young people. So it's not something that we're going to be kind of publishing, and that's why we're using kind of the out of copyright images. So if there's anything that you want us to find from the libraries that you want to reuse image wise, and I think because we're doing inspired by, I think we should be pretty safe.
As long as you don't make loads of copies and then go out and sell it all, I think we're absolutely fine.
Yeah, because I think that's why on the Flickr account, there's lots of books that are similar to some of the ones, because there's a lot of modern books on there. So that's kind of what put me off doing some more kind of recent ones. But then a lot of kind of modern books are inspired by older books in turn anyway. So yeah, again, don't let it put you off. It's kind of more about the ideas, and if we shared something, is that going to make someone pick up that book and go, oh, you know, I want to read it? Because at the moment, I'm really, probably shouldn't say this, but I'm struggling to read For Whom the Bell Tolls. And so I was thinking, could I make that into a choose your own adventure game, just to try and get me through the book, really? So yeah, it's really interesting what people might come up with. It can be as simple, or it could be for children. So yeah.
I think there's a Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar. Is that one there? I think it is.
It's on there, yeah.
And I've tried to read it and I'm struggling. And I'm like, why can't I read it? It should be a book that I love. But I'm not sure how you'd make that into a game.
That sounds like a difficult one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just make something that was focused on poetry, really. You know, because there's so much in Sylvia Plath's poems. So I mean, when you think of Dixit, you could have just some like images from her poems, and invite people to, you know, come up with their own story or like or poetry about them.
Yeah, that would be nice. Sonia's asked about sharing the link from last week. We can send that, can't we? Do you mean the emails or the, because I don't think there is a link to the recording yet, is there?
No, we haven't sent out the recording link, but I can send out your notes again.
Yeah, I presume that's what you mean, Sonia?
Email, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a note, and I think everyone's got my email now, so please chase me if I forget.
I'll download both recordings tomorrow as well, and start creating the YouTube playlist, and then we can send that out at the same time, hopefully.
Cool.
Fantastic. And yes, that is a link to our blog about the 100 novels that shaped our world. And it should have, it's got the list on there of I think, yeah, it's got the full list of all of the books on that blog. We're kind of focusing on 4 of the themes on there, which you can find in this blog that I will just share with you. Again, I'll just grab that.
Yes, we're looking at adventure, crime and conflict, rule breakers, and life, death, and other worlds. We thought those were the most fitting. You should know them by now.
And next week, the session is on crime and conflict, isn't it, this session?
Fantastic. We've got any more questions? We're coming up to 8 o'clock now. It's been absolutely fantastic again, Anne. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's been joining in as well.
Yeah, that was brilliant. And I'd love to, any more stories you want to email me, or if you want to email them to Rhiannon or Claire via them, that would be lovely.